Okay, we're talking about parents and raising kids and so forth. I read an interesting article recently by a woman who said that her little boy was what she called a Jane girl as opposed to a tomboy. Oh. And she said, why should there be any difference? The little boy apparently was putting on a dress, wearing makeup, mincing around. In other words, where there's a tomboy, that's a girl who, when she's a child, acts like a boy. She said, why should we judge it any differently if the little boy acts like a girl? And I'm interested to ask this panel, especially, if they think that that is a fair comparison.
You shouldn't act any differently, you know. I mean, after we had this little baby with my wife and I, you look at that child, no matter what she or he is like, you're going to...
So if you're a little
but
Joey...
I don't think it's in the eyes of the parents as it is those outside of the family.
I think
that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I think, for the most part, the standard is still very different for men and women, and people are not very comfortable with, we are still, I think, a homophobic society.
Well, partly. I think the reason is that we in America love our lesbians. And when we see a tomboy, we think it's somebody in the lesbian academy. And we're going,
the lesbian academy.
Yes, it's like the police academy.
Right, somebody on...
Jerry, you lost me here somewhere.
Yes.
Wasn't sure where...
Yes. And
we think it's like a dyke in
this is why I chose the ensemble I'm wearing tonight.
Yes.
To maybe answer that question for everybody. Is how people judge people by appearance, you know? Gay people make up 10% of the population of this country, but we still feel it's okay to bash them,
that's
right?
in dispute.
It's well, whatever.
10%.
What if it's one? You know, this is supposed to be America. It's supposed to be free. Bashing one is too many, but people judge people by their color of their skin, by the fact that they're gay, by this, by that, by their socioeconomic class.
Okay, but we're talking about a child putting on a dress. We're talking about a little...
It's very trendy, Bill. It's very trendy.
For children to put on dresses?
For boys. For boys.
To put on dresses is trendy?
Where have you been?
Did you see that?
I don't even know what the color of the sky is in your world.
Why would you...
I can't tell you...
Why on earth would you challenge her on a fashion statement? Why would you challenge her on a fashion statement?
No, but I don't think this is a trend for little 8-year-old boys to be putting on dresses.
Isn't that what they've always described as the way it began, you know, people...
There was, hold on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nice to meet you. There was a French film, a great French film, actually, exactly about that. A little boy who just felt he lost a chromosome somewhere and felt he wanted to be a girl, and he went to be a girl, and the family coming to grips with that.
But don't you think tomboys, a girl who's a tomboy, they outgrow that, usually. I think it's just, they're not really boys, they're just sort of non-sexual at that age. But like a little boy who puts on a dress...
They might be gay.
They might be, but I think tomboys usually just grow up to be...
It's more acceptable, right? Yeah.
Well, it's acceptable, but I think they also grow out of it. Whereas a little boy putting on a dress, you don't think that that is a little different than a girl? I mean, why do the sexes always have to be the same?
It collides with the national sense of macho.
Sure.
It just seems to be unnatural. And that's why kids who are whatever effeminate means get a lot more heat being boys than a girl does in a ponytail and sneakers. But I go back to America's love affair with lesbians. they get a break.
You know, I was going to say the same thing.
Jerry, I think you have been listening to a little too much Howard Stern. We will take a break and we'll be right back.